If you don't figure out how to make money while you sleep, you're gonna work until you die. In this video, I'm gonna teach you guys how to go to sleep, wake up, and have made some more money. So the concept that we're gonna go over today is called compound interest. So why should we even learn about this? Isn't compound interest just a little bit more complicated? And shouldn't I just not really worry about compound interest and maybe instead just throw my money in a savings account? Because if I just put enough money in my savings account at my bank, won't that grow to be enough for my retirement and I'll just have millions of dollars?
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Hey everyone, my name's Nolan, my students call me Professor G, and it is my passion helping young people understand personal finance and the ins and outs of starting a business. Let's do this! So let's talk about compound interest versus just regular interest. Compound interest is just basically a way for you to make money on top of your money and then to make more money on top of that money. The longer that you hold this money into some type of an account that does build that compound interest, the more benefits that you get out of it. For example, if you were to put $1,000 into the S&P 500, which historically has earned about 10% each year, if you were to put $1,000 into that, at the end of the year you will have made $100. Because 10% of 1,000 is 100. Now, if you kept all of that money into that S&P 500 for year 2, at the end of year 2, you'll not only be gaining interest on that $1,000 that you had originally put in, but you're also going to gain 10% interest on the $100 that you made last year. So instead of only making $100, you're now making $110, and that's on top of what you had last year. So at the end of last year, you had a total of $1,100. Now at the end of year 2, you're going to have a total of $1,210. In 10 years, you'd have $2,594. And in 40 years, you'd have $45,260. And that's if you had never added to that original $1,000 ever again. You put the $1,000 in and you just let it sit. That is compound interest. So the difference between that and just regular interest is that interest only takes into account the principal balance that you had put in, and it only adds money on to that principal balance yearly. So if you were to just get regular interest rather than compound interest, in that first year, if it was 10%, you're still gonna make that $100 like we talked about before. But in the second year, you're still only going to get $100 because it's still just 10% off of the original $1,000, not off of the $1,000 plus 100 from the year before. So in your savings account, banks promise to give you interest. They make you excited to be able to earn interest on your money. The problem is the interest that they're giving out, you'd be lucky to find 0.1%, not 1% on your money, 0.1%. And the national average right now is actually 0.06%. If you were to put $1,000 into that savings account, at the end of the year, you'd make a whopping $1. Don't go out and spend it all in one place. The real crime is what they're doing with your $1,000. Have you ever thought about why the bank is giving you the incentive to even put your money into their account in the first place? Like, why not just say, yeah, put it here and we'll hold it for you? No, they're trying to entice you and give you a little bit of interest so that you will put the money in there, and that the more money that you can put in there, potentially they'll give you a little bit more. Why are they doing that? The reason is they're very smart. They understand compound interest. And what they're actually doing is they're taking your $1,000 and everyone else's $1,000 that put their money into that savings account, and they're investing that into something like the S&P 500. So on your $1,000, they're making 10% in a year, which means $100, and then they only have to pay you 0.06% or 0.1% or whatever, and so they make $100, they give you $1, they just profited $99. Now imagine with all the millions and billions of dollars of savings account money, how much they're actually making just because you're letting them use your money. Seems like a pretty solid business model to me. Another reason to understand and take advantage of compound interest is that there's only so many hours in the day. For example, when a business owner wants to expand, they're doing well and they're making a certain amount of money. If they wanted to double their sales, they aren't just going to work double the hours. They're going to find a way that other locations can make money while they're doing something else. So maybe they're at one location and then they have 2 other locations. All locations are making the same amount of sales. This business owner is still only putting in 8 to 10 hours. He or she is now making 2 or 3 times as much because his money is working for him or her. When people say you need to get your money working for you, this is what they mean. Take advantage of some type of compound interest. So here are the 3 best ways, in my opinion, to take advantage of compound interest. Number 1, my most favorite, easily and the easiest and the simplest way to get involved in this is to start investing in an index fund or ETF with low expenses that you understand. My 3 favorites are the S&P 500, a total stock market index fund, and QQQ, which is a little more on the technology side. There are so many different types of index funds and ETFs that might align more with what you are interested in, but those are my 3 favorites. My next favorite way that you can earn compound interest is through rental property. Rental properties do have a high startup cost, and so you will need to save up some money for a little bit, but it is one of the best ways to earn residual income. And not only that, you're also having your tenants pay down your mortgage for you. So you're not just earning their rent money each month, you're also paying off your mortgage. As the house appreciates in price and value over the years, you're now being able to profit almost double on that. The third way that I like to take advantage of compound interest is through a high yield savings account. Now, make sure that this is compound interest and not just interest on the principal that you originally had put in. This one is not great because at the most I'm seeing 2%, 2.5%, around there, and some of them are much lower than that. You definitely want it to be at least 2% because on average our inflation has risen about 2%. Now, don't even get me started about the amount of money that we just put into the economy over the past year and a half or so, and why our interest rates are going through the roof, and the fact that that's going to make inflation go way higher, and it already has begun to do so. Just make sure and do your research. See where inflation's at. Right now it's definitely higher than 2%. But again, this is why I said number 1, my favorite type of compound interest was the S&P 500 or something similar to that. Historically, it has always generated about 10% on average. So even if inflation were to get crazy high, like 5%, 6%, which would be insane, it's still not higher than what I'm earning with my money in the S&P 500. So if inflation were to rise 6% next year and everybody freaks out, if I have my money into something that's earning 10%, I'm still in the green, 4%, so I'm not freaking out as much. You guys can check out my other videos explaining exactly how to invest into the S&P 500 as I break it down for beginners. And I go much more into detail on not only why it's a great investment, but how you can actually do it. Like literally set up an account and invest into the S&P 500. There's multiple ways to do it, and so I'll walk you guys through that. So the spark notes for today, very simply, compound interest is your best friend. Figure out a way that you can take advantage of it and do it today.